دكتورة أحلام ظهرت لكم الشاشة؟
ايوه الان ظاهرة.
تمام. حابة أحول على منتي just for a minute كذا بشوف أتأكد بعدين برجع.
اوكي
ظهر لكم الآن سؤال؟
ايوه
تمام.
دكتور أنا راح أوقف الشير مالك بس عشان نحط الفيديو وبعدين نبدأ إن شاء الله. دكتورة أحلام ما حطيتش الهوست بس أعطيني كو هوست بليز. دكتورة أحلام بس تعطيني كو هوست بليز to share the video.
اوكي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. حياكم الله جميعا في لقائنا الثاني عن دورة الآيلتس والتي تقدمها لنا دكتورة رنا السبهان، محاضر بجامعة الأميرة نورة بنت عبد الرحمن، ماجستير لغويات تطبيقية من جامعة إلينوي بأمريكا، حالياً مرشح دكتوراه تخصص علم أصوات في قسم اللغويات التطبيقية من جامعة ريدينغ في المملكة المتحدة. سبق وأن درست الآيلتس كمادة دراسية لطالبات البكالوريوس، وقدمت دورة عن كيفية اجتياز اختبار الآيلتس والتوفل لمنسوبات جامعة الأميرة نورة بالمملكة العربية السعودية. Today's sessions will be about reading part of the IELTS. راح يكون اللقاء مدته ساعتين، ممكن ناخذ بريك بتوين، وهذا راجع للدكتورة رنا. تفضلي دكتورة رنا، حياك الله.
أهلا فيك دكتورة أحلام، شكرا على المقدمة. Thank you everyone for joining today's session, our second session. I would like first to start by thanking ITAR group for offering their platform to present this workshop. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this workshop presented. And I would like to thank personally Dr. Ahmed and Dr. Ahlam for making it possible. Let me start by sharing my screen. So today, I hope you can see all the screen. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Good.
And
okay, today
for reminder, if you have any questions, just send it by chat, or yeah, we don't have it today Q&A. Okay, just by chat, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ham. Yes, and as Dr. Ham said, we will be running a 2-hour session today. If possible, we'll have a 5 minutes break in the middle. Depends on how is everything going through. Today, we will be dealing with the reading part. We will be going through some tips, tricks, and strategies for dealing with the IELTS reading part. And we will also go through some techniques for preparing for the IELTS reading part. So let's start with some of the outcome of today's session. I hope by the end of this lesson, you will be able to learn some of the exam skills to achieve the results you're looking for, learning how to prepare yourself for the test, be aware of the common mistakes and how to avoid them. Again, learning ways to maximize your score, and finally, get some of the tricks and tips for excelling your IELTS score. Okay, but first, let's start with some warm-up activity. Last time, I have asked you which part of the IELTS test you find most challenging, and to my surprise, you answered, most of you selected the writing and the speaking part, okay? And the least part that receives, or that wasn't that much difficult to you was the reading part. So I would really appreciate it, just to warming up for the reading section, to go to menti.com and type in this code, or I can share with you, let me just stop for a minute and share with you the link on the chat where you can just click on that and go straight into the website. Just try first to, let's see. Can you see the screen with one question? Okay, can you answer the question, please? Here is the link, just click on it and you will be guided to the question immediately. Have a look at this question and answer it. Take a minute. You shouldn't take more than a minute to answer this question, and then we will move on to the next question. I won't be sharing you the answers now. Maybe at the end of the session, I'll tell you why. But for now, let's just activate our brains for or prepare for the IELTS reading by answering these two questions. Okay. I'm expecting you to do it in 1 minute. Once again, you can log in either by typing www.menti.com or just click on the link on the chat and answer the question. I will have to move on to the next question now. So last 30 seconds. Okay, let's move on to the next question. I'll give you 1 minute to do this question as well. Okay, I think that should be enough for now. Once again, we'll go back to these two questions by the end of the session to tell you why am I presenting these to you. Now let me just stop sharing for a minute and back to our slides. Can you see the slides now? Now, for the IELTS reading, if you remember last time, we said that the IELTS exam has 4 parts, starting with the listening, then the reading, then the writing, and finally the speaking part. For the reading part, it will be, the reading section will last for 60 minutes, an hour. You will be examined in 3 parts, which is basically 3 passages or 3 texts. Overall, the questions will be 40 questions, and each question will carry just 1 mark. Okay. The text or the passages will be detailed text. They will be from different topics, could be mostly academic. They can be from newspapers, magazines, or textbooks. They will be of different, again, topics. It could include also visual information like a diagram, illustration, pictures, besides the verbal text. Now, if you remember with the IELTS listening, we said that the questions get harder the more you advance. The same goes with the reading part. The first passage is usually the easiest, then the second one will be a little bit harder, and the third one will be the hardest. The language overall is academic, is formal, not like the listening part where you could have a mix of formal and informal language. No, for the reading, it's basically formal language. Because you are having only 1 hour to do all 3 parts, it is expected to spend 20 minutes for each text. Okay, and just like the listening part, synonyms, paraphrasing as you are used extensively in the reading section as well. Let's go through some of the questions. Remember last time in the listening part, we discussed 10 types of questions. For the reading section, we could still have the same type of questions like the listening part, in addition to kind of new questions, which we will go through in a minute. The first question that you will meet only in the reading section is matching each paragraph to a heading or to a title. In the text, the passage, or let's talk about part one. Part one, you will have a text, you will have a passage. In this passage, you will have between 4 to 8 paragraphs. Sometimes you will be giving a title or headings for each paragraph, and you will be asked to match that title or that heading with each paragraph. Like this question here. Write the correct letter from A to H in boxes from 1 to 6. So if you read these, this is the title, the heading, the main idea of each paragraph. Your job is to read the paragraphs and then match each one with the right paragraph. The paragraphs will be mostly having these symbols from A to H, and you just have to match each title, each heading with the right paragraph. Question 2 will be completion. Could be diagram like this one, could be a sentence completion or summary completion, sometimes table completion. It depends on the the question you will get in the IELTS reading. In this part, for example, you will be asked to fill in the gaps. Okay, the gaps you can see here in the diagram, using some information mentioned in the text already. Another new question that you will only probably see in the reading section is it true or false or not given? Or is it yes, no, or not given? Can you guess what does it mean? I think, I'm assuming all of us know true or false, okay? What about not given? What does it mean? Any ideas? What does not given mean?
I would say maybe not mentioned in the text.
Exactly, that's it. You won't find this information in the text. You don't know whether it's true or false because it's not there in the text at all. And same goes for yes or no or not given. What does yes mean? What does yes mean in this kind of questions? When I say yes, what does yes mean? Or no? Could be correct, yes. Could mean correct, could mean, yeah, it could be in a sense. Yes means that information or that line or that sentence exists in the text in the same way it is in the sentence. So they're matching. But no, it means incorrect information. Not given, same as the first part, it's not there in the text. We don't know whether it is yes, whether it is no, or not even mentioned. Sorry, it's not mentioned in the text. Okay. Multiple choice, again, we've already met that question before. You're giving a couple of choices, and your job is to choose the right answer depending on the text in front of you. Short answer questions. In this case, you will be given questions and you will be instructed in how many words you're supposed to answer each question. In this case, we have no more than 3 words, and you will have a question, and your job is to just type the answer here. Okay. Let me remind you of this slide we discussed last time. A very important part of the questions in the IELTS, and that is how many words you're expected to write. We said that when it is just 1 word, we're expecting to write just 1 word, whereas there is no articles, no prepositions, no signs, just 1 word. When it is 1 word or a number, we are allowed to write the word, 1 word. We are allowed to write it as a number. We can have a number and a word, okay? We can have a signs, like here's the mathematical signs, but we can't have 2 words, okay? When it is 2 words, same. Pay attention not to write additional words, and same for 2 words and or a number. pay attention to the number of words that you are matching the instruction in front of you. And if you need more details about this section, please let me know and I'll explain it to you again. But I'm assuming that most of all of you here today have attended last session. That's why I'm just going through it very quickly. If you haven't and you need more clarification, let me know in the chat and I will explain it in more details. Okay? Right. Now, let's imagine that we are going to prepare you before the test and what you are expecting to do during the test. So before the test, how can you prepare yourself for the reading part? First of all, you have to make sure that you have a time, specific time, just for reading, at least 10 to 15 minutes daily, just for reading. And when I say reading, I mean a positive reading. That is, you are reading for a reason. You are reading certain text or passage or a book or even for a reason, either to learn new words, either to find new information or to summarize at the end. Just read for a reason or to answer some questions. All of these are acceptable and well recommended. Develop speed reading, and I will talk about speed reading in a bit. Guessing I have a slide about speed reading, how to help yourself to read more quickly than the normal way, which is one of the skills you need to develop, and it's a serious skill you need to develop for the IELTS and later on in your academic life. You need to learn how to take notes while you are reading. Well, this is also very important, so you can connect the ideas while you are reading. You need to highlight the important information or the new vocabulary that you are learning at the time. Also, after reading, try to summarize the main ideas, or if you are able, the specific ideas mentioned in the text. And finally, develop a learning or a skill for understanding how to tackle each reading question. The questions that I have just shown to you, practice these questions as many times as you can. The more you practice them, the more you know how to handle them during the test day. Okay. Before you start practicing or preparing yourself for the reading part in the IELTS, you need to understand, or you need to know, what level of reading are you in. And this is very important. Why? Because let's suppose you are reading material, text that is a bit less than your level. In this case, you won't be motivated. You will not be learning a lot. All of the words are known to you. You won't be, how can I say, developing your reading skill. And on the other hand, if you are reading on a level that is way more advanced than your real level, you will be frustrated easily. You won't be able to answer questions or even summarize what you are reading, and you will end up not finishing the task because it's way more too advanced than your real level. So what you are supposed to do before starting to study for the IELTS reading part, try to know what level of reading you are in. And here I have added some links where you can log in and do some tests. The same, you know, the two questions I have just posted at the beginning of the class, the two questions that you have answered on Menti, it's the same kind of questions. You'll be presented with a passage or sometimes sentences, and you will have to answer them. And by the end, you will receive a score that will show you what level of reading are you. It will tell you either you are a beginner, or in Oxford terminology, starter, or A1, or level A1, or in IELTS 1. It will tell you if you are, for example, intermediate, or it will show you whether you are intermediate, or in other words, stage 4, or you are B2, or your level 2, or in IELTS, that's the expected score for 3 or 6, and so on. So this is important before you start reading. Try to know what level of reading you are, and from there you can advance and take the test every now and then to see if you are moving up or maybe down. Hopefully not. Okay. For the reading skills, to advance or to develop your exam skills, you will need to develop certain academic reading skills to be able to tackle 3 long texts on the exam day and be able to find the answers that you're looking for. But first, make sure you understand these skills and you practice them while you are studying for the exam. The first one is, the first skill is skimming the text. Do you know what does skimming the text mean? Can you say it in short words? Very good. That's the point. Yes. To look through the text in a, just to know what's the general idea of the whole text. You're not reading word by word. You're not reading every sentence in the paragraphs. You're just looking through in a very broad manner to get an idea what is this text is talking about in general. Okay. The second skill is being able to scan the text. How about scanning? What does it mean, scanning? Scanning a text. Explicit realities, I'm not sure. Reading in details, not really. Not exactly reading in details. Reading fast, it is reading fast, but for what? Or if it's reading fast, then it's the same thing as skimming. What makes it different from skimming? Very good. For specific idea, you are reading fast still, but this time you are looking for a specific information. Okay, you are reading to look for a number. You're reading to look for a date. You're reading to look for a name. You have a goal in your mind, and you're looking for that goal. Not like skimming. Skimming, you're just going through the whole text just to have an idea what is it about. Whereas scanning, you are reading, looking for specific information. Once you find the information, you will stop the scanning. Okay? Predicting. What does predicting mean? Head notes? I'm not sure what do you mean by head notes. Okay, thank you for the translation, Fatima. Yes, guessing. While you are reading, try to guess what is it the idea about. Not just rely on what you're reading. Try to guess from what you're reading, what's coming next, what is it presented, all right? Just to advance your reading and advance your skill in understanding the whole idea. Predicting is part of it. Then you will have to develop another skill, which is skipping. What does it mean, skipping? And what exactly are you skipping? It is ignoring. Ignoring which part? Move on when you find difficult words. Very good. That's the idea. Skipping is being able to jump words or phrases that are unfamiliar. Because if you spend more time on these unfamiliar words, you're practically wasting your time. And you don't need, when you are reading, whether for the IELTS or for any other course, you don't need actually to understand every single word. Most of the time, you're asked about the general idea. So if you have to teach yourself, how are you going to be able to skip words that are unfamiliar and at the same time predict the whole meaning of the text, rather than wasting your time in rereading the same word over and over, trying to find out its exact meaning, which is not going to be relevant for the whole purpose of reading. And finally, you have to learn the skill of inferring. What does inferring mean? Being able to infer. Okay. Means if you don't understand, we'll jump to another sentence, right? Yes, right, Fatma. How about inferring? What do I mean when I say being able to infer? No idea, no problem. Inferring means it is conclude, yes. Not necessarily, not actually conclude, but being able to get information that is not stated clearly in the text. Right, I was trying to say, very good, yeah, Fatma. Sometimes, most of the time, when you are reading a text, they won't tell you every single information. Most of the time, you will have to guess, predict, or infer, meaning get the hidden information from the whole sentence. For example, you would say a sentence like, for example, my husband and I went swimming last Thursday. And then a question, for example, a question is the main character married? How would you answer such a question? Is she married? Yes. Did I say marriage at all in my sentence? Did I mention marriage at all? I didn't, but you can understand it because a husband, meaning that she is already married, right? Very good, yes. So being inferring meaning to find the hidden information from the passage or from the text. Okay. Let's do some practice. If you have received the Word file I've sent already in the chat, I believe, let me see. Yeah, it's at the beginning. Let me resend it again. Please open that file if you have it already. And I want you to have a look at this passage. I'll give you 2 minutes to read it and then I will move on to Mentees again, and you will have to choose your answers there. Let me send it very quickly again. Reading, all right. Here is the Word file. I would really appreciate it if you have an access to this passage while I show you the question. Shall I move to Minty now? Do you have an access to the passage? Because I don't have it in the question part. Do you have an access to the passage, to this paragraph? Are you following me? Okay, let's do this. Let me move back to Mentees very quickly. Let me see here. Just a second. Okay, right. Sorry, a bit not so much with the technology. Let's hope you can see this question now. Oh, sorry about that. Let me just make sure I am at the right question before moving on. Can you see the question now? How much funds do you see the question? Can you access this? Let me post the link very quick. Here is the link on the chat. Have a look again at the passage, at the paragraph I have posted early, and it's on the document I have sent on the chat a minute ago. Read it for 1 minute and then answer the questions here. Oh, one question actually we have. I don't expect you to spend much time doing this question because it's just one question. So I would really appreciate it if you do it in less than 2 minutes. Okay. Any more? Last 30 seconds. I'll have to stop sharing now and go back to our slide. Okay. Can you see the slides? Can you see the paragraph again? Okay, good. What did you just do in this exercise? What did you just do? What skill did you do? Is it skimming? Did you just read for the general idea? Just to have an idea, what is it about? Yes, it is scanning. What happened in a minute ago was scanning. You have a specific question and you're looking for a specific answer. And that in this case, you're looking for a specific number, okay? If you invested 1,000, how much will you get? Okay, and in this case, it will be this number, $250,000. Okay, this is when you are using scanning in the IELTS reading. When you have a specific question, and this question most probably is asking about a number, a date, a time, a name, this is when you are using scanning. You are looking for one specific item. Okay, let's do another practice. Moving on to the second passage in your Word file. We have this 2 paragraphs this time. Do you have an access to these? Because I will be moving back into Mentees to see the questions together and answer them. Do you have an access to these paragraphs? It's in the file. It's in the file, in the first page in the file. I have just sent the file on the chat. If you go a bit up, you will find IELTS reading practice. In the first page, you will see the one paragraph we just did. And then if you look down a little bit, you will find these 2 paragraphs. Can you see them now? Okay, I'll stop sharing for a second. And again, I'll share with you the Menti page. Oh, there we go. Let's move on to this question. Now answer this question. Which paragraph contains the following information? Reasons to put yourself first. Examine these 2 paragraphs and then answer this question. Is it gonna be paragraph G or paragraph H? Okay, I'll send the file again. I'll give you 2 minutes. Take your time. Here's the file again in the chat. One more minute and then we will share the answer and talk a bit about these skills. Let's go back. Let me stop sharing this one and go back to our slides and we will discuss the answers in a second. Wait. Can you see the two paragraphs? Okay. So the question was, which one talks about, remind me of the question, about yourself. It's about, let me find the question. Oh, I can't access it. To put yourself first. Thank you very much. Yeah, Fatma. To put yourself first. I believe most of you chosen H, but there are some answers G. Why did you choose G and why did you choose H? What clues you use for G and what clues you use for H, for whatever answer you choose. Those who answered G, why did you choose G? What was your clue here? Which sentence, which phrase you used as a hint that this whole paragraph is about putting yourself first? Line 4, H. No, let's start with G first. We'll come to H in a minute. Let's finish with G. Another less visible way the modern work. Last line. Let's see last line. We have to think about putting our career on pause and becoming a mom. Is this about putting yourself first? G is about priorities. Maybe it's about priorities or about, mostly it's about workplace or the balance between workplace and being pregnant. This is what the whole paragraph is talking about the workplace, priorities, being pregnant. This is what the whole paragraph G is about. How about paragraph H? What was your hint? What was your clue that this is actually about putting yourself first? Which paragraph talks about the problem, Maram? G. Which problem? So what we can do to combat these societal pressures. The woman works while she is pregnant. Is this G or H? Are you still on G or H? And the difficulty, G. I don't think paragraph, oh, G, okay, sorry. You're talking about G, yeah. It's talking about the problem. So is it talking about, my question is it about putting yourself first? Or is it about something else? If I ask you to summarize paragraph G, how would you summarize it? Back to paragraph G, how would you summarize G? What is else? What is something else? Summarize it. Anyone? How can you summarize paragraph G in one sentence? Or a phrase if you want. Just summarize. What is it talking about generally? Read it again. Having to choose between career and family. Okay, yes. Career and family. That could be a kind of summarizing it. Very good. Any other attempt? How about H? How can you summarize paragraph H? Can you summarize paragraph H? How work causes women to postpone pregnancy. Which paragraph is this? Is this H? G. Okay, that's G. Could be. Again, about pregnancy. Could be about pregnancy, paragraph G. Yes. How about H? Let's move to H now. Flexible works to women. Okay. Yes. Flexible works. What else? How and why women should put themselves first. Yes, again. So here in the second paragraph, it's actually talking about how to put yourself first. Relationships, and the relationship you have yourself. Yeah, relationship with yourself, for example, could be. Yeah, why not? But it should be specific in this case. Yeah. Actually, you'll find a clear line which matches the title. Women should also learn to put themselves first. And then it goes on to explain how. The first step is being mindful and so on and so forth till the end of this paragraph. So the first paragraph is mostly about pregnancy, working hours, whereas the second one is giving advice on how to manage yourself, how to put yourself first, how to take care of yourself, so in different ways. So paragraph H is the answer to our question here. Now, we used in the first, let me go back. We used in this paragraph a skill that is different from this paragraph. What skill did we use here? Which skill did we use? Remind me, what skill did we all use? Scanning. Why scanning? Why? Very good. We have specific idea we are looking for. We have a specific number we are looking for. Very good. How about this paragraph? What did we use? Very good. We skimmed the two paragraphs. Why? Why did we skim in these paragraphs or in this question? Why did we skim? What are we looking for in these two paragraphs? To get a general idea. That's the point. Because here they're giving you like a title or a main idea, and they're asking you to match it. This is where you are skimming. So if we go back to our questions, to the type of questions very quickly, and try to decide what skills we use with each question. With each question, let's see. Let's start with this question. What skills should you use with this kind of question? With matching each paragraph to a heading or a title. What skill will you be using to answer this question? What do you think? If I have all the paragraphs and I need to match each paragraph with the right heading or title. Is it skimming or is it scanning? And why? Scanning? If it's scanning, what are you looking for? Those who answer with scanning, what are you looking for? What specific word you are looking for? I'm asking you about this particular question. When you are asked to match each paragraph to a heading or a title, are you going to scan or are you going to skim? You're supposed to skim the paragraphs. Whenever you're asked to match a paragraph to a heading or to a title or to an information, they're asking you about the general idea. How can you get the general idea? By skimming the paragraphs, just to have an idea. Each paragraph, what is it talking about? That's it. Let's move on to the second question. The second question here, they were asked to fill in the gaps. Are you going to skim? Are you going to scan? Are you going to predict? Are you going to infer? Okay. Tell me all the skills you might use in this kind of question. Can you guess what skills are you going to use whenever you have to fill in the gaps? Very good. Very good, Fatma. What are you going to predict in this case? What are you going to predict? If you are using the predict skill, what are you supposed to predict? If you are going to predict in these kind of questions, what kind of prediction you're making? You can predict what kind of the answer is. Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Is it a number? Is it a date? This is how you predict the answers. By trying to guess, are they going to be nouns, verbs? Is it going to be a number, date, and so on? Okay, this is just to start with. And then you're going to scan. Yes, because you have specific information, you know, it's a shark and it's a young ray and you're looking for some information about that. So you're going to scan very, very quickly looking for any information about sharks and then read them to find the answer. Good. How about true, false, or not given? Or yes, no, or not given? What kind of reading skills you're using in this case? When it's true, false, or not given, or yes, no, or not given, which skills you're going to use and why? Infer. Why infer? It says if there is no information on this, so infer. Not given, it means it's not there at all and you cannot even infer it. You cannot even guess if it's there or not. If it's not giving, pay attention to this information. If the information is not given or it means it's not there at all and you cannot even guess it. This is what not given mean. But if you can't infer it, then it is there in some way. It may be disguised or hinted, but it's not stated clearly. I think scanners can, because we need to know the information is in the text or not. Very good. That's the answer. Yes. You will need sometimes to mix between more than one skill to find the answers. You may start with scanning, looking for specific information. Let's say, for example, here in 19, they're asking about residents and Olympic facilities. So try to look for information about these two things, scanning very quickly, and then skimming the whole information to know, is it there? Is it not there? Is it given or is it not given? Okay. And sometimes you may use the infer. Is it hinted? Is it included somehow? And then you can answer the question. Very good. How about multiple choice? If you have multiple choice, what kind of skills you're using in this case? When it is multiple choice. Scanning. It depends on the, very good, that's it. That's what I was about to say, Mara. It depends. With multiple choice, it's kind of tricky. It depends on what kind of information, what's the question is about. It depends on the question. Sometimes they're giving you like a specific information and multiple choice for that. Sometimes it's just giving you the general idea, and the choices is about that general idea. So you could use actually all of the skills within the multiple choice, depending on what kind of question is that. And for short answer, what kind of skills, reading skills you're going to use? For short answers? Before scanning, before skimming, something crucial before skimming, something makes your life a lot easier if you do it first. Predicting, very good, that's it. Predict, try to guess what is the answer gonna be. For example, who means a person, so I'm looking for a name here. What, I'm looking for a thing. Which, I'm looking for which room, I'm looking for a room here, a certain type of room, and so on. So whenever you have a short answer question, try to predict the answer first, okay? What kind of an answer it is, and then you can go from there, whether it is skimming, whether it is scanning, and again, it would depend on the question, okay? Sometimes, most of the time with short answers, you will have to use your inference to find the answer, most of the time. Any questions so far? Okay, so we practiced. Let me go back, see what did I miss? Okay. Oh, skipping, yeah. You should do some more skipping next time. I'll show you how to do it. Okay, we did this, we did that. Reading strategies. Let's take 5 minutes break, okay? And then we'll resume with the reading strategies. How about that? Would you like to have a 5 minutes break? I'm thinking reading part is kind of a condensed part. It's a lot of information to take. So I would really recommend having a 5 minutes break, and then we can go back into the session. Give us an example question for inference. Okay, let's take 5 minutes break. Let's come back and I will give you another example for inference, okay? Hello again. Shall we continue? Would you like to continue or you need more time? Anyone? Okay. Okay, now in the last hour, we have been discussing how to prepare yourself for the exam, how to develop your reading skills, how to go through all, how to go through the preparation. I was about to skip a slide. Now, let's move on to some of the reading strategies which you can use when you are either preparing for the exam or during the exam. So the first strategy is always start by reading the title, the headings, the subheadings, the first sentence in each paragraph. When you follow this, you will find yourself having a general idea about the whole text even before having to skim through the whole passage. So take it as a habit to just learn whenever you are about to read something. Go through the title and the headings and the subheadings, and if there is a diagram or an image or a picture, have a look at it first before going to skim or scanning that passage, just to develop this skill within yourself to learn something about the passage even before having to skim it. Number two, read the first sentence of each paragraph. Okay. Sometimes you need to even read the last sentence in each paragraph. If you, in this case, if you are answering a question like match each question with its heading, try to focus on the first and the last sentence, because the first sentence in each paragraph will give you an idea or will introduce you to the topic, whereas the last sentence in a paragraph will summarize the idea to you or introduce you to the next paragraph. So if you are within that question or you're looking to have a general idea, make sure that you read the first and the last sentence before digging deep into the reading or the skimming skill. When you are skimming, scanning, or reading, make sure you notice clue words, like words that are written in bold or italics, or wherever you have tables or charts or pictures. Make sure you are aware of these and read these first before going through the text itself. And practice reading phrases rather than just words. This is how you develop fast reading. Fast reading is a very, very important skill you will need on the IELTS and later on throughout all your academic life, because you will be asked to read a lot of information or a lot of text in a very short time. If you are reading word by word, you are wasting so much time and practically learning less than you're supposed to. So you will have, whenever you are preparing for the IELTS test, read in phrases rather than words. So for example, instead of reading the girl left the building, like the girl left the building, you know that an article always follows a noun. So you just read it in one glance, in one look at the phrase, the girl left the building. You know that the nouns always preceded by articles. So just one glance is enough for reading it all. And for developing fast reading, this is a technique they use with children to help them progress into fast reading. Cover the materials before and after where you are reading. For example, if you are reading a text and you finish with the first line, cover the first line, because your minds sometimes will start asking questions. Is it the boy or is it the girl? Is it the TV or the radio? Questions that are not relevant, but it will question you, and you just want to go back and check, is that right or no? But you have to fight that urge, okay? Because you will find the answer later on the text if you continue reading. So try to cover the sentences you read already, and cover the sentences to come so you don't get distracted. This way, especially at the beginning, when you are building up your speed, this way will help you progress a lot and help you push your reading spell more than the regular way of reading, okay? Now, any questions about how to prepare yourself for the IELTS reading part before we jump into the test now? Any questions how to prepare yourself for the test? Okay. Now let's all imagine you are sitting on the table, starting your reading test, okay? What should you do? Number one, make sure you read the questions before reading the text. Why? Why should you read the questions prior to reading the text or the passage? Any thoughts? Take a clue, yeah? Predict what kind of information I need, very good. Highlight the important information. What do you mean by highlight the important information? So would you read the question first, or would you read the text first? Which one would you go for? Yes. Let's all agree that we start with reading the questions and fight the urge to look at the text first. Why? Because when you look at the text, you don't have any question in your mind. You don't have any question to answer. You will be wasting your time. Remember, you only have 1 hour and 3 long texts. You have to manage your time and use it appropriately so you can find answers to all the questions. So have a look at the questions first. Skim the questions so you know what you're expected to do, and then move on to the text, okay? Next step, read the questions carefully so you know how many words you are supposed to answer. Remember, this is one of the very common mistakes in the IELTS. People tend to answer with the wrong number of words. So just highlight how many words you are supposed to write. Then read the headings, read the subheadings, read the bold words, the charts, the tables. Have a look. Now it's the time to have a general idea about the text to answer the questions, right? And then when you are skimming through the questions, predict what kind of answers you are looking for. Look at the gaps. What kind of answers? Is it nouns, names? Is it adjectives? Is it places? Try to have an idea what is it about. The answers should be. Most of us, during the reading section, are faced with topics that we have never read before, okay? Sometimes they're very scientific that we do not have a clue about them. Please don't panic whenever you are encountered in such a situation, because this is not a knowledge test. You are not being tested on your knowledge. You are tested on your reading skill. So you don't need to understand every single word. You don't need to even to understand the topic in general. What is it going to be, or how are you going to handle this topic? You are asked about your reading and mostly about your vocabulary. That's the main purpose of the reading test. So do not be distracted by the difficult topic. Just focus on the questions and focus on your techniques on dealing with these questions. Okay, always focus on the meaning rather than specific words. Learn to skip these difficult words whenever you're faced with them so that you do not waste much time. Okay. Final tips. Whenever you are in the test, make sure you do not leave any question blank. make sure all the answers or the questions are answered. Even if you are not sure that this is the correct answer, guess. Okay, you won't be taking more marks if you are guessing. Remember, it's just 1 mark for each question. So it won't hurt you if you just guess if you are unable to find the answer. And once again, you only have 1 hour to answer all 3 texts, all 40 questions. Manage your time properly. Do not spend too much time on one question. If you know that you can find the answer, if you spend much time, then leave it till the end of the test and then go back to it whenever you have time. Okay, just don't make sure you don't spend much longer or more time than the other question on a specific question. After all, it's just 1 mark. Okay, if you are encountered with a topic that you are familiar with, try how can I say that? Try to ignore all the information you know already about that topic, because again, they are not testing your knowledge, they are testing your reading skill. So there might be in the text something not compatible with the information you have in your mind. So fight the urge to write what you already know about the topic and just focus on what's written in front of you. Okay? And the reading part is similar to the listening part in the sense of the extensive use of synonyms and vocabulary and paraphrasing. You will rarely find a question that is asking you a question that you have exactly the same words in the text. They will probably use different synonyms. They will probably paraphrase the whole idea. Why? Because they are focusing on the meaning rather than the exact words. Their focus is on the meaning, the general idea, rather than the specific ideas. Okay? Is it clear? Oh yeah, one of you asked about inference and how can we use it. I'll give you very simple examples. Hopefully they will help you to learn what does an infer mean. Let me explain it first, then I will share the examples with you. Infer means the writer is not going to share all the information with you. Sometimes deliberately the information is hidden or is hinted rather than explicitly written in front of you. For example, if I say she is making herself a snack, that's a very simple question. She's making herself a snack. And the question is she hungry? How would you answer that question? She is making herself a snack. And the question is she hungry? Do you have the word hungry in the sentence? No, but you can understand it. It's easy. Of course, I'm giving you a very easy example just to show you what an inference mean. An infer is just to conclude or reach to a hidden information that is true, that the writer is hiding, but it's there somehow, okay? Another example. He's taking his coat with him. And the question is it cold outside? Again, the sentence, he's taking his coat with him. And the question is it cold outside? So the question is totally different from the sentence, but you can understand it and you can answer it easily. How? Well, simply you can say that he's taking his coat. Obviously, it must be cold outside, otherwise he wouldn't be having his coat with him. Is infer clear now? Can you understand the meaning of infer? Okay, brilliant. Let's move on to the common mistakes in the IELTS reading test. What are the common mistakes? Let's go by them one by one. So the first one is, of course, reading the text before reading the questions. Why is this a common mistake? Why is reading the text before the question is wrong? Okay, yes, wasting time. That's it. That's the idea. You are wasting your time. You are doing absolutely nothing. You don't have a question in your mind to answer. So you will need to read the questions first. Not reading the instructions carefully. So what? What happens if I don't read the instruction carefully? Excuse me. What happened if I don't read the instructions carefully? What kind of mistake will I get? I will give wrong answers. How? I'll probably write the wrong number of words. Remember? I will probably write the wrong answer by, for example, they're asking me about a number and I'm giving them just the items. For example, so I'm giving them the wrong number of words or the wrong answer. Good. Reading every word. Why is that a mistake? Why is reading every word seems to be a mistake? Again, you're wasting your time. Yes, which is very valuable in the reading part because you need every minute to find answers rather than reading word by word. Not answering questions. Remember when I said if you have no idea about a question, it won't kill you if you guess it, right? Writing two answers. Some people would write two answers. If they're mistaken, they will write two answers. In this case, you will get 0 for the question. Ignoring the question, yeah, the order of the questions. We did not discuss this. Sometimes in the reading part, the questions are ordered in the same organization of the paragraphs within the text. So if you are looking at question 1, you will most probably find the answer in paragraph 1. And then if you are looking for question 3, you will most probably find the answer after the answer to question 2, and so on and so forth. Just like the listening part, if you still remember. Getting stuck on unknown vocabulary. Again, you will waste your time. You will get stressed if you get stuck in a single vocabulary and leaving the whole text. Do not understand the question. For example, the question is the most mistakes usually occur with true, false, not true, false, sorry, yes, no, or not given. So people say that, for example, answer yes as being it exists in the text, but they don't check if it's true or false. I mean, is it matching what's mentioned in the text or no? So be careful and try to understand the questions before answering them. Spending a lot of time on difficult questions. Okay, remember, each question is just 1 mark. So don't spend much time on any single question. Spelling and grammatical mistakes, of course. Yeah, so if they are asking you about plural, make sure you write plural. If they're asking you about 2 or 3 words, make sure you write them grammatically correct. And another common mistake is looking for the exact words and phrases in the text. You will be wasting your time. You will be truly wasting your time and will not find the answer. Remember, in the IELTS, they are always using synonyms, different words with the same meaning, or paraphrasing the whole question. So always focus on the meaning rather than the words. Are they clear? Are the common mistakes clear? Okay. Now let's have a very quick look at how many correct answers you are supposed to have to get the score you're looking for. Of course, if you answered all questions correctly and scored 40, you will definitely get a score 9. If you answered between 37 and 38, you will be having a score 8. If it is 34 to 35, you will be having score 7. If it's 30 to 31, it will be 6. And Have a look at the rest. This is how many correct answers you need to have to get the score you're looking for. Okay. Okay, now it's time to practice. In the file I have emailed, I have sent you earlier in the chat, in the second page, we will start with example 1, and then we will move to example 2. I believe you will have an access to the passage. Of course, in the exam, in the IELTS part, it won't be this long, by the way. So don't be deceived by this length. It will be, how can I say, longer than this. Definitely at least 5 paragraphs like this, okay? And of course, more questions than that. But here we are just practicing the techniques we have been learning all this session, okay? So I'm asking you now to have an access. Just a second. Have a look at this passage and find an answer to this question. I will set my timer to 5 minutes. I will tell you when to start, okay? Just be patient. Let me read this question very quick. I have a question. If I have an answer with 2 words, okay, but they give us the answer with 2 different words, but have the same meaning, what should we do? Choose one of them, or can we put? Is your question about the number of words? If it is about the number of words, don't worry about punctuation. Just write, for example, apple and then space, oranges, for example, if it's 2 words. Don't write apples and oranges, because in this scenario, it will be counted as 3 words. Am I understanding your question correctly? Good. So in this case, if you are asked to write 2 words, make sure you write 2 words. Don't mind the and or, okay? If it's not, if it's going to exceed the number of words allowed, just type the words as it is without any punctuation or without any linking words. Okay. Should we start the practice? Have you an access to the questions, to the text first? Do you have an access to the text? Shall we start? Remember, I'll give you only 5 minutes. It actually should be less, but because it's our first time, I'll give you 5 minutes to do this. Okay, let's start now. 5 minutes. Are you ready? Have you answered? Okay. Everyone, are we ready? Should we have a look at the answers? Okay, let's see the answers. How did you do? Number 3, what about number 3? How did you do? Okay, nice, nice. Remember, I'm giving you really easy part just to let you know you can do it. Good, good, okay. Now, I would kindly ask you to tell me, what did you do to answer the question? Please, each one of you, share your technique. What did you do when you first start to answer the questions? You can unmute yourself if it's easier to speak. I think you can. What did you do? Exactly. I want in details. What did you do in details? Okay, let me read them one by one. Read the questions, then skim the paragraphs. Okay, good start. First, read the question, then text and subheadings. Okay. I read the titles first and then started reading the paragraphs. Read the first and last sentence in each paragraph. Very good, very good, very good students. Nice. That's what I was looking for. So whenever you have such a question, make sure always train yourself to look at the questions, okay? There's something I was hoping I can see here in the answers. I'll give you one more chance. What else did you do? Other than these strategies, what did you do also? Predict. What did you predict? Oh, predicting. How did you predict? What did you predict in this situation? Know what the writer wants from us to know. I'm not sure I'm following you, Maram. The number was a clue for the temperature, for example. The number and number. Temperature is, I believe it's the second one. Could be. Yes, could be. Yeah, that could be a clue. Yeah, why not? Now the greenhouse, but the global warming. What about the global warming? I'm not following you. Let me see what. Know what the writer wants from us to know. Global warming. It's actually mentioned the global warming, but yes, he mentioned the greenhouses first. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes. When I refer the text, I predict the end. I'm not following you, Fatma. What else did you do? What did you do also? Any one of you try to highlight? And if so, what did you highlight or underline or whatever technique you used? Did any of you try to highlight? Introduction with the same headline in the first paragraph. Yes, that's true. Yes, the first sentence here is quite the introduction. That's answer immediately this one. It's a greenhouse, is a house entirely. That's like a definition, which means it easily can be the second one. What are the words, Fatma? If you are highlighting something, what would you highlight? Now remember, what skill did you use, by the way? What skill did you use with this question? What skill, what reading skill did you use to answer this question? Did you skim? Did you scan? Did you predict? Did you infer? What did you do? Yeah, very good. Skimming, the most important bit here is skimming. You're going to go skim through the whole paragraph to find the general idea that matches the title here. Between words meaning of the title and predict and skim. I'm not sure about predicting. I would love it if you can explain to me, what did you predict in this situation? Like made sunshine school, read fast. Okay. How did you read fast? What did you do to read fast? What techniques did you use to read fast? Okay, skim. How did you skim? Remind me, how did you skim? I highlighted the greenhouse and the global warming. Okay, yeah. And try to predict what the connection and then summarize the text. Maybe, could. Honestly, I can't seem to understand the predict part in the situation, but whatever works for you, go for it. By eye, okay, how by eye? Yeah, we didn't read word by word, but how? Tell me how exactly you read fast. How did you skim? How? What did you do? I predict that the introduction is the same as the headline. And then the second paragraph should highlight the meaning of the headline. Headline, there is no headline in the second paragraph. Predict, get the general idea. Yeah. We're listening. Can you turn off the mic, please? Mics. Thank you, I'm guessing. Search about the number if a question is the general idea of each paragraph. Back to my question. How did you skim? How did you read fast? Come on, you can do it. What did you do? Search about number, if asking about number, there are no numbers here. I want here, what did you use to read fast? To skim, what did you do? Losing time. Read the sentence or related the same words in the question. Maybe. Okay, I'll say it. Remember when I said you have to read the focus on the first sentence and then maybe the last sentence to start with? Remember, this is how you're skimming. You read the first sentence, and in this case, you can easily find the question in the first sentence. So in this case, you move on to the next one and you read the first sentence, the Earth experience. Actually, here it's not clear. What is it about? So you move on to the last sentence and see if you can find more information. And in this case, you actually have information, the answer to this question. And same goes here. In the last question, in the last sentence, you can see it's immediately mentioned here. So in this case, in this scenario, You didn't have actually to read sentence by sentence. Actually reading the first and the last sentence of each paragraph can easily answer your questions. Do you understand how to use skimming here? What's the point of skimming? Should we move on? Come on. Yeah, okay. Let's move on to the next exercise. Okay, now, this is the last exercise. I believe it's in the last page. Again, read and find the answers to these questions. Okay, we will talk about how did you answer. Now, this time, how can I say it? Be mindful what to do, why, and how to do it, because you will have to answer me later on, 5 minutes later from now. Go, you have 5 minutes. Are you ready? I'll just have to rush you through this one so we can finish on time. Let's go through the answers if you're ready. And you can compare your answers to the correct answers. Okay. That's interesting. Let's discuss the answers to this question. So the first question is, what's another name for Easter eggs? And I believe, how did you get, how, oh God. Did you answer all the questions correctly? Apart from those who shared their answers with us. Spelling mistakes, watch for spelling, grammatical. Are you sure? Okay, so let's go through the answers together. What's another name for Easter eggs? It's obviously Pascal eggs. This is, I believe, is quite obvious. And remember that we are allowed only 2 words. Ostrich egg. Why is it ostrich egg? Why is ostrich egg? Let me see. Eggs with engraved decoration that are decorating eggshells. That's different here. That's different. Okay. The second one, what type of eggs were formerly used? It's chicken eggs. Now I notice here in the chat, some of you has written, where is it? I've seen it here. Yep. Dyed chicken or painted eggs. Sorry. I think they wrote, let me go back and see what kind of eggs they write. Chicken eggs. Yeah, dyed eggs. Dyed here is an adjective. It's describing the eggs. Painted, again, it's describing the eggs. The name of the eggs is actually chicken eggs. So be mindful, be careful when you write your answers. And finally, what did eggs represent on the whole? In the last paragraph, it's obviously stated it was a traditional symbol of fertility and rebirth. Okay. In this scenario, you can't say the same. If you wrote fertility and rebirth, that would be marked as wrong because you have written more than 2 words. So, and I can see that most of you wrote it correctly with only 2 words, which is brilliant. One of them is wrong. Yep, brilliant. Okay. Any questions about this one? First line. Polar? Well, what are you talking about, popular, Fatma? What is popular? Why are you talking about popular? Easter eggs are wide popular symbol of new love. Yeah, that's the symbol, but what does it represent? Okay, it represents these 2 features. Okay, it is gonna be tricky. It will never be a straight answer. You will have to think it through when you're looking at at the answers, at the options. Okay. Now, okay, now we have viewed the correct answers. Now tell me, how did you answer these questions? What techniques, what reading skills have you used to answer these questions? We still have some time, so let's do it quickly. Can you share with me your techniques, your skills that you relied on to answer these questions? Either you can write them in the chat or unmute yourself, whatever is convenient to you. Scanning. All the questions? Did you scan for all the questions? And if you scanned, what were you scanning for? If you scanned to answer questions, which question and what did you scan for? Come on, you can do it. Okay, you read the questions, then you make sure that you use only 2 words when answering, then scan for the other name of Easter egg. What did you use for scanning? Okay, most of you scanned. What words you scanned for? What did you scan for? Remember, when you scan for specific information. What was that specific information you were looking for? The names of the eggs. Okay, could be the names of the eggs, yes. But did you find the names of the eggs here? Did you find names of eggs? Where did you find names of eggs? Called, yes. So when you scan, again, you scan for specific information, right? Here, you're not actually scanning, because if you're scanning, let's say for name, you won't find name here, unless you have in your mind all the synonyms for name, which includes cold, okay? In this scenario, you're actually skimming to find information. You're looking through the first and the second, and then maybe through the whole paragraph to find names for Easter eggs. It's more of a skimming than scanning. For the second question, what type of eggs were formerly used at Easter in Europe? What kind of skills did you use here? Skimming. Okay. Okay. Again with the scanning. What did you scan for? Europe. Let me scan for Europe very quickly. Europe. Well, in this case, we have Europe mentioned twice. So it could be used as a clue. Could be used, Europe could be used. I know it's mentioned more than once, so it might limit your options to find the answer, but it could be used as a clue. Use, not really. Use is a verb, and use is a very popular verb. You can find it maybe in almost every sentence. So I wouldn't advise you to use as a scan. I would advise you to skim for the answers for the second question as well. Here, because you are looking for general information about eggs, what type of eggs. So you may not find the word type, you may not find with the word, you may not, of course, they're not going to use, maybe they're not going to use, but it's a lot easier if you skim to find the answers rather than scanning. And the last question, what did eggs represent on the whole? What did you use for the last question? What skills did you use? Oh, barely have time. And once again, it's more of a skimming, okay? One of you a minute ago answered that it should be symbol of new life. It's not new life simply because here they are telling us on the whole, not in specific countries. If you look down, in general, we're a traditional symbol of so and so. So here, in general, is a paraphrasing for on the whole. So again, I would suggest with short answers to rely on skimming rather than scanning, okay? You may start with scanning, but then you will have to skim and read the sentences to understand what they're actually looking for, okay? Is it clear? So let me finish up with some of the reading resources that I would really recommend you using them to advance and prepare and study for the IELTS test. Here also for a speed reading test. This is very good. If you start with this one and determining your level, it will put you in a good position to start studying for the reading, for the IELTS reading. And here we have free online IELTS reading practice test. Practice, please, as many times as you can. This is the only way you can learn to use these tricks and techniques and strategies and be able to feel comfortable using them and managing your time at the same time. Questions? Do you have questions? So today we presented some information about the IELTS reading part. How can you study for it? How can you advance in reading? How can you prepare yourself for the exam? What kind of tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to boost your score? And how to, we also went through the common mistakes and how to avoid them. I hope everything is clear for you. If you are interested in having the slides, please email me. I have just posted my email on the chat, and I will email you back the slides as we agreed last time. And if you are interested and you have missed the first part, which is the listening part, I believe it is available on YouTube. Maybe Dr. Ahmed can tell us all how to find it, or maybe post the link to it. And I hope I can see you all next Tuesday, same time at 5 p.m. UK time. I believe it's 8 p.m. in Saudi and Kuwait time. We will be going through the writing part of the test, and I hope if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any addition you want to, I don't know, share with me, please email it. If you don't feel comfortable sharing it in the chat, email me. I'm okay with that. You are most welcome. It was my pleasure teaching the IELTS, and I'm so grateful for all of you for staying all these 2 boring hours with me and listening to and doing all the activities that we have been doing. Of course, I will, dear, just email me back so I know your email address, okay? I will send the slides to whoever email me. My email is at the top of the chat. It's somewhere in the chat, you'll find it. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Rana, for today's great session and for all the attendees. I don't know, Dr. Rana, if you have time to take any questions.
Yeah, sure. If they have any, I'm more than happy to answer them. Once again, if you have any comments, any suggestions for the coming sessions, please share them with me. I would be happy to accommodate all of your needs.
I don't think that we have any question.
Okay. Hope that's a good sign.
Okay.
Okay. I think they're done.
أوكي. في نهاية لقاء اليوم الثاني من دورة الآيلتس المجانية، نشكرك دكتور رنا ونشكر حضورنا الكريم، ونلتقي بكم بإذن الله تعالى في موعدنا المعتاد الأسبوع القادم يوم الثلاثاء في تمام الساعة 5 بتوقيت لندن، الساعة 8 بتوقيت مكة. شكرا لكم جميعا ونلتقي بكم على خير.